The scheduler in MediplanSchedule is accessed under the Data menu to Scheduler. Each clinic can have as many schedules as wanted. The first 6 schedules, which is customizable per user, are accessible via buttons at the top of the scheduler. You can flip back and forth between schedules by clicking on the buttons. If there is more than 6 schedules at the clinic, by hovering over the patient's name or the physician's name, you can get a list and also access the different schedules by clicking on them from the list. There's a navigate button which allows you to quickly move from back to today to the next and previous month. These 3 options here are customizable per schedule. So if you've got a physician that often does 3-month follow-ups, you can put in 90 days, 6-month follow-up, 180 days, and also to the previous and next year. Booking patient appointments is as simple as just clicking on the time. If you're booking an existing patient, all you have to do is type the patient's last name and hit the tab key. This is a flagged comment, which I will go over during the patient registration video. If the system only recognizes one patient with that last name, it'll pop them right in. If there's multiple patients with that last name, you'll get a list and be able to choose specifically which patient you are looking for. From the appointment entry form, you can choose the reason the patient is there from the list, or you can free type why they're there. And by hitting the save button, it allows you to save the appointment. If you're booking a new patient, it's suggested that you book the patient by their healthcare number. To do that, you enter the patient's healthcare number in the patient area on the appointment entry form. After entering the healthcare number, you either hit the enter or the tab key. This will bring up a new patient's registration. You can fill in all of the patient's information. Over here you can choose the sex, female or male. It'll default to female, so you only need to change it when it's a male. You can tab down. Birthdays go month, day, year. The address. And phone numbers. If you put in the patient's email, and checkbox email for appointment reminders, the patient will automatically get an email reminding them of their appointment 2 days prior to their appointment. Also, for the family doctor field and the referring doctor field, we have a list called the directory in MediplanSchedule of all of the Alberta physicians. So if I was to put in a physician's last name, I will get a list of all the physicians that we've got in the directory, and one can be chosen. If I save this appointment, because I'm entering a new patient, it's always going to ask me to continue or basically confirm that I have added a new patient. And now you're back at the appointment entry form, in which you can choose or type your reason for their appointment and save. Now, if the patient, for example, this is a physical, if it requires more time, by holding down the shift key and clicking under the name, it puts a star there which blocks off the time. Moving in a patient appointment on the same day is as simple as clicking on the patient's name and dragging and dropping them where you want to go. If you need to move an appointment to either a different schedule or a different day, you can do so by double-clicking on the patient's name and choosing Move or Move Appointment. I can see here that it's got my original date and time of my appointment. I can move to the day that I want to move it to, so the 7th. I would then click where the name would go in the schedule. So if I wanted to move this patient to 10 o'clock on the 7th, I would just click where the name would go in the schedule right there, and it has moved my patient. And if I go back to the other day, I can see that that patient is no longer there. The schedule works as almost an invisible grid. Each one of these headings right here is a specific column. So under the status column, if I want to just do a single click, it will arrive my patient for me. I can also right click on the mouse and choose another option. Now all of this list is customizable, so I can put whatever I want here. I could put, if a patient doesn't show up, you can flag it as a no-show, because this is a searchable field and you can do, for example, no-show reports at a later date. Just a note that the cancel will actually cancel the appointment and remove it from the schedule. As the patient is now arrived, once the physician is ready for the patient can be picked up and dropped into one of the physician exam rooms. And you'll notice here that the status will also change. Now, once the physician has seen the patient and billed the patient, this status will change to billed, so you have a visual at the end of the day that each patient has been billed. If I move over here to the calendar side of the schedule, it works just like a calendar. So I can write on the calendar. So for example, on the 12th, by just double clicking on the day, I can say OR, for example, if the physician was in the OR that day. Now it says OR. You can also create banners. For example, if the physician is going to be on vacation from the 20th to the 23rd, by double clicking on the day that I'm planning on starting my banner, I can checkbox banner. I can pick how long it's going to go for. I can pick a color for my banner and fill in a reason as to why. And when I save this, I've got a visual on my calendar that this physician is on vacation for those 4 days. Now, if I switch back and forth between schedules, it only shows on that one physician schedule. Down at the bottom here, this is a universal note area. So no matter whose schedule for that day you're looking on, it will show. So if I click in this area, I could put, for example, drug rep, 1 p.m. So if I save that, by switching to any schedule, I'm still able to see that note. From the schedule, you have the ability to block off times. For example, if on the OR date, for example, the physician is not working after lunch, I can go under Actions to fill empty slots, pick my time, so starting at 13:30 to 1600, the physician is in the OR, so I'm going to fill my slots, and it will block it so that no appointments can be made. This is easily reversible. For example, if the physician no longer is going to be in the OR, I can first remove these reserved by going back to the same spot, Actions, Fill Empty Slots. Again, putting in my time to 1600 and hitting Empty Slots. Now to remove the flag on the OR off the schedule, again, I just double click on the day, double click on the entry, and I can delete. Now let me go back